So here I am. I wanted to make the next Jimmy Rainey video and have so many technical problems that I realized I have to publish this video a week later. But I just want to take the chance to talk to you. I wanted to make a video talking for a long time, and I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is practicing. And I just want to share my own experiences with practicing the guitar with you and share some tips that help me. Please don't be shy. If you have any tips, just put them below in the comment sections. I think it will be great for everybody if we share our practicing tips. There's so much to be learned, and there's so much you can do to make your practicing more consistent, more effective, and more joyful. So like every good YouTuber, I have a book where I made some notes so it's not getting too random. Before I start, I just want to say that I always have a general feeling in practically everything I do that nothing is ever enough. And when I'm practicing the guitar, like say for 1.5 hours or 2 hours, I get very much into this practicing spirit, but then I get tired after a while, and that I always have that feeling I should go on practicing, I should practice more. And in the past years I would have been going on with practicing. Now I can't do that anymore since I have a little kid and I have to look for the time to practice anyways. But that wasn't the case some years ago, and so I would always practice very long, and most of the time I would practice so long that I would like get totally depleted. And then the next day I would like start again and didn't find the right energy, and it took me like really many years, and I'm still struggling with it, but I think I'm consciously aware of it to not do that anymore, rather practice shorter and but then repeat it every day. I made another video about that as well, because I think that's a very interesting topic, that you don't exhaust yourself too much in one practice session, but that you rather try to keep going, because I think practicing every day is the most important thing if you want to improve your guitar playing. And now you can just stop watching that video, because that's the most important thing. So let's talk about distractions for a second. I think distractions is probably the biggest thing that keeps people from practicing. So one thing that is very basic, but what I do and what helps me a lot, is I leave the apartment for practicing. I either practice in the practice room of my boyfriend. He's a drummer, so he has a practice room. Or what I do is I go to the music school or to the music schools I'm teaching in, and I'm practicing in the rooms of the music school. Sometimes that's a really good idea. Most often on weekends nobody's there, and in the morning nobody's teaching most of the time. You have the building for yourself, and you're just like changing the environment. And what I also do is, like, on the way there I listen to a podcast or read a book, or like try to get myself like really in a motivational spirit. And another thing that most of you probably know what I do is, after the first hour I get my first reward, and that's, for me, that's getting some coffee. So this is kind of a system that if I need to go out of the house and then I'm going to get coffee later, and I did that for so many years, that works out quite good for me. And the good news is, if you're a guitar player, right, I mean, you can try to get a shared practice room. Many people have to have a practice room, you know, like drummers, they have to have a practice room, and most often they have the space for a guitar player or a saxophone player, you know, because you don't need much space. You just have to put the amplifier in the corner, and then you pay a part of the rent, and then you have a place where you can go to and practice in peace, because the distractions will automatically be totally reduced if you go to another place. You won't be so much distracted by your normal surroundings. No computer, maybe no internet. So the other thing that I highly recommend is to make a plan. So I plan my practice plan Sunday evenings for the rest of the week, or if I don't do that, I try to make a plan the day before I go to practice, and just write down what I want to practice. And one word about the plan, I mean, you don't have to practice everything every day. So if you make a weekly plan, you can really like say, okay, on Wednesdays I'm going to have my repertoire day, I'm going to repeat songs that I don't want to forget, and other things you might want to practice every day, like technique or improvisation. So just make a mental note that you don't have to practice all the topics every day, so you don't have to make one plan plan for every day, but you can sort of make a plan for the whole week. I think that's a very nice thing. Another word about YouTube videos and books and all the resources that we have. I think what happens very often is that you have a practice plan and then you watch a video and somebody's talking about something else, how you can practice this or a new exercise or a super cool lick or a super cool whatever it is, and then often it's easy to just like make a new practice plan or stop practicing what you did practice. And I think a nice solution is to make a practice plan and to give yourself a space in that practice plan, maybe 10 minutes, so that you have a space where you are really allowed to indulge into that information overload. Maybe even watch a YouTube video, that would be fine too, and just like check out what excites you so much, but then it's only for 10 minutes, and then maybe afterwards you evaluate it. But because we know probably all we get so excited about stuff, then when we sit down maybe we're not so excited anymore, and maybe the exercise is not good or it's great. So write it down and give yourself the chance to check it out, but then also give yourself the chance to leave it at the doorstep if it's not good. And that brings me to my next point, which is the planner. So what I like to do is write down what I practice or print it out and evaluate it. So when you're making a plan, write it down. The fewer decisions you have to make while you're practicing, the better. You want to focus only on the task at hand, practicing guitar playing and not thinking about the subject you're practicing or anything like this. And so if you have a planner, you can, for example, build your own, what is it called? Bullet journal. You can cross things off the list. You can have a calendar in the beginning of the journal and just like make a cross every time or every day you practice, but be sure that you write it down. I show you my collection. So I think I showed that before, but that's a collection of my practice books actually, and they look, maybe they don't look so chaotic as they are inside. There are many pages that are empty and then I start over again, but I always try to end one book, and it's really nice after many years to have a look what you did practice. As I said in the beginning of the video, I'm rather never satisfied. It's never enough. And I think it has something to do with the fact that when you practice and you're at the end of your practice session, you might feel in your fingers or in your body that you have been practicing, but you can't really say like, look, I have been getting better like this much. So I'm really like trying to get away from the thought of a product, you know, going into the supermarket, buying a pack of rice, coming home, having a pack of rice. I mean, that's not how practicing works. And I rather try to go to bed at night and then I recall what I did that day. So I practiced, check off, and that's enough. Even if it's only 10 minutes or it's 1.5 hours, but I have been practicing, and that's all that I need to do. So I'll be back with Jimmy Rainey next week. See you around. Bye.